Welcome to the Spring Showcase, your dedicated LFA podcast. I'm your host, Michael Washington. I'm here with Daniel Villapando. As we're back, we're a day late again. I had some prior engagements I had to take care of that I completely forgot about last week when I was on air. So that's my fault on that. I that spaced it right up until it was time to come on air, and I was like, Daniel, can we do it tomorrow? Luckily, Daniel's flexible and he was able to join me tonight. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Definitely don't mind being a day late. Love talking ball with you, so don't mind at all.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm a big fan of talking football, as you know, and the LFA is always an exciting time, especially for me. It just is weird this year because the LFA started later, the ELF has moved up, so it's like they're going to cross lap for most of the year this year, and that is
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for the players, I mean, I know for a lot of us, we have our players that we want to, see move up and move around. It kind of sucks for them, man, because, I mean, you would hope one season ends and they can go play somewhere else, but, it's kind of a tough one.
I think that's one of the biggest things. Like last year, we saw Shelton Epler. He double dipped a little bit. He went out to Vienna and covered for Vienna while Holmes was hurt for a little bit. Did pretty well out there while he was out there. But it's hard uh, to see this happen primarily because there are so many guys who like to play year round. Aaron Ellis is another guy. We've had a guest on the show. Love the guy to death. He was out in Japan the last time I knew, tearing it up over there. And he's with Vienna actually. Now that I just think about it, but he's with the Austrian, not the ELF team, but the Austrian under team there, um, tearing it up over there overseas. But I wanted to talk real quick. What do you think this does now? If these two seasons are going to overlap this much to a lot of the American imports, is it going to deter them from looking at one league to the other? I know that the ELF has a little bit stricter import rules than the LFA does, but you got to figure it's going to play some sort of I guess psychological warfare inside their mind or struggle as to how to approach this.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing that to me, as far as if I was an athlete that was going to be going overseas or an import, as you would call it, is the inconsistency in the start date, right? That probably hurts. I mean, you never know. Some of these players have families, have kids and all that stuff, and the reality is some teams run things better than others. So you don't really know if you're going to get to see your family. They're going to get to come in. I know some of the players that I've seen on the Osos, they've had their wives come in with their kids and they've come and visit them. It's a lot easier to fly into certain cities in Mexico than other ones. So yeah, I mean, as far as that, it's the uncertainty and the inconsistency in start dates is tough, man. Because I know we see a lot of guys, a lot of athletes that we follow, especially in the indoor football scene, that we're like, man, if they get back outside, I would love to see how they develop, like in the LFA or in the ELF, and it's kind of hard because you want everything to kind of be like you said, year round, right? Like one season ends, boom, we get to pop and they get to go. And a big reason is you want their pockets to be nice and full. You don't want them to have to choose and pick and choose. Aaron Ellis is a great example. Played in the LFA and then he moved over. So yeah, I would like to see more consistently, definitely.
Yeah, it just seems like it's odd. Like LFA was real quiet. They never really said anything as far as them starting later. Normally they're earlier in the year. They have the Easter break in between. They don't have that this year. There's not a league break at all. The ELF usually starts in June. They usually go, rival with this. How much of the ELF adjustment schedule was so they didn't overlap with the NFL, even though they didn't. And I know that this is an LFA show, but I want to talk about it from a player's perspective. How much do you think the NFL schedule had to deal with the ELF moving up? And did it have an effect on the LFA at all, in your opinion?
Yeah, I'm quite honestly, I wouldn't know. I mean, personal opinion wise, I would say it's probably definitely a possibility. I know the biggest thing is more so the effect that it has probably on the players, but I mean, that's a great point, to be honest. I never thought about that. I didn't really picture that. It's okay. You can pass by if you want. Yeah, I mean, you are live though, but my nephew just showed up. But yeah, I
Nope.
kind of lost my
How you
train of
doing,
thought there.
Neff?
But
No, you're good.
yeah, I mean, I would say it's. I would hope that the leagues are kind of in cahoots in a sense, or at least trying to play off one another. You would hope, right? That's the best thing.
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt about that at all, and whatnot. All right, now that it's out of the way, I just wanted to mention it because we both had discussed this in the past about how we felt it was kind of odd and weird that um, there was such a move up and down for the scheduling. We talked about how it was silent on the end of on the end of uh, the LFA's part to start later on. So I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way while we get ready to head up to week 2 of action here. Do you have our picks from last week? Because I'm very curious about how this worked out. Do you have everything with you?
I don't have the pics. I know I took a photo of them. I know they're gonna be at home because I'm at my cousin's crib.
Okay, all
Uh,
right. Oh, that's
I
fair.
kind of have an
That's
idea of who we had. I kind of have an idea.
I think I remember as well myself, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's first start out with the Dinos in Archangelis. I see I butchered that every single time. I'm not even going to attempt it. The Archangels. We discussed after week 1 how one-dimensional the Archangels looked, and this game I think they got kind of exposed by the Dinos. I believe that I picked the Dinos in this game. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think I did. It was a 20-3 game, so it still wasn't a very high-scoring game from the Dinos. And that's the second week in a row I think that the Dinos. No, Dinos only scored 9 last week. So, um, what's your breakdown on this game? How did it look from your perspective, and where do you stand with this Archangels team? Because we knew that it was just basically, I guess, a new team, but not new at the same time. I mean, it's not really a rebrand, I guess. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess a rebrand would probably it. What I felt as far as my breakdown, the Dinos defensively, they came out hot, man, and I know they got a great defensive end, number 0. I think I don't want to butcher the pronunciation of his name. It's Debrew, I think, or Diabru. He was just destroying things. He was doing a great job of kind of holding it down. And I know I picked Arcangeles to win. I know I had them, so I kind of definitely going to take an L on that one. But I certainly had them. I had them taking that one. But I mean, overall, seeing them perform the way they did was pretty solid. I mean, they kind of shut things down, and that type of win must have felt fantastic for them. There was a lot of momentum behind the Archangels, and seeing the Dinos kind of shut that and stifle that pretty quietly, because obviously the other game that everyone was kind of into was the Osos and the Gallos, but seeing that game, that was kind of the game that we really wanted to see. We were talking about if they can stuff the run game and if they can shut it down, and on the flip side, can the Archangels actually open up that offensive playbook? And the Dinos did a great job. I do remember, though, you did say you felt the Dinos were going to do a lot better in seeing the film, and they kind of knew what the game plan was going to be, and that's exactly the way it looked.
well, I mean, just looking at the overall way that this team, the way that this game went, if I remember correctly, it was 0-0 at the half. So it was a very good defensive battle to start off with. And honestly, there's a difference between a good defensive battle and sloppy play. And I really don't think that there was really any sloppy play in the first half as much. Some inconsistent stuff, but I think overall it was just a really good defensive game. And D. Abreu, the guy you're talking about at the defensive end, he was very disruptive for the Dinos throughout a good chunk of this game. I felt though that the first half, overall in this game, I felt like these two particular offensive lines seemed to be better than what we saw in week one, but it's still a long ways to go, which we talked about pretty extensively last week. Overall, the Dinos, man, who did they end up starting at quarterback? Do you remember off the top of your head? Was it De La Rosa?
Yeah. Eric De La Rosa. Yeah.
They did start Eric De La Rosa. Okay. I couldn't remember if he had started or if Boykin had ended up. I think Boykin played, though, a little bit.
He definitely got some packages. You can kind of see that it's a quote unquote dual quarterback system, but
yeah,
Eric Nino or Eric De La Rosa, because I mean, in Mexico you have like 15 last names. He's their guy, man. He's gonna be their starter. But yeah, that's gonna be the guy they're gonna kind of lead with. So we'll see.
I do find it interesting though because Boykin did throw a touchdown and he went 4 for 6 on the weekend. No, he went 2 for 8 in week one. So he actually went 4 for 5 for some yardage and a touchdown this week. So he actually outplayed De La Rosa in this particular game against the Archangels, and maybe that was the shot in the arm that Boykin needed, was to be benched last week and to see what happens moving forward or whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely hope it was. I know the biggest thing is a lot of times imports go over there, and the ugly side of playing ball over there when you're raised in America and you're all through it is you're gonna go over there and you're gonna be like, man, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. It's just football. It's a team sport, man. It's the ultimate team sport. I know that's why I love it. You have to buy in. You have to watch film. You have to develop. There's still pros that you're playing. So I hope Boykin is buying into this team. I really, really hope he is, because, I mean, going 4 for 5 and having a touchdown, and I know he didn't throw a pick this game. So, I mean, he's got all the talents. We've seen it. I know you love watching him play when he's like just watching his electricity. But, I mean, you got to buy in. You have to buy in.
I really enjoyed him a lot, last year when he was with the Dinos and got a chance to shine. I really honestly felt like he's, I really felt like he was a good national quarterback. I thought he had good command with the team, and we'll see what happens with Boykin in this situation. I didn't think Boykin played all that great with the Galcos last year, and we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on this quarterback battle moving forward, because for me, it's a little bit harder I have to go based off the numbers and do the research on my own, because I don't speak Spanish still, and I need to step up my game, I think, on that to listen to listen to the broadcast as well. Question to ask you, because Joshua Mack did not have the best of games, and Denzel Strong did not have the best of the games. They dropped from the top 2 in rushing last week into the bottom 2 here. But Mr. Chance Leon Bell, that doesn't seem like a real name to me.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm looking at that too.
It doesn't seem like a real name to me. I'm gonna check to see if maybe the roster has a Mr. Chance Leon Bell. I think it's supposed to be Chance Bell, because it says San Diego State. Played with San Diego State. Chance Bell was a stud at San Diego State. Played really well ball. It says he ran for 200 yards on 24 rushes in this game.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't on this list at all last year. So,
yeah.
I mean, last week. So, huge game from the Dinos on that side, on the rush game. Is that the balance that they were missing?
Yeah, I think when you ever have whenever there's a quarterback controversy, I think if you can run the ball as efficiently, 200 yards in a game, he was averaging 8.3 yards a carry. I know he had a fumble on a run. It looked super nice, by the way. He broke away really good, and I know he wants that fumble back. You can just tell. But if you're coming in with that type of stats and you're coming in with that type of change, you just don't want the offense to start, hey, that's what he had. We're going to build off that. I think the ability of building off Eric Nino or De La Rosa and Boykin with him, I think that would be great. But I think everyone's best friend is a good run game. I mean, I'm a Philly fan, so I think that's the best way to kind of take it in. But yeah, I mean, 200 yards in a game is pretty absurd, and that's pretty awesome.
I mean, that's assuming that Bell, because Bell wasn't in the top 10 last week. So I keep saying last week. So I don't know what he ran last week.
Yeah,
if he did it all with that game. I mean, granted, their opponent last week was much tougher with the Osos. So, but I mean, he's at 200 yards on the season already. He's the first one to eclipse it in this first 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
By all means. All right. Moving forward for these two teams, while we wrap this up. Yes, Justin, that's right. Correct. I meant to mention this. Chance was the running back with the strike force in the IFL, in the Indoor Football League. I meant to mention that and spaced it. I did not ignore your other comment, Justin. We will be talking about it when we get to that team as well. Moving forward, though, with the Dinos and Archangels, what's the outcome looking like for these two teams now that we've seen 2 weeks of them? Like, what can we kind of predict, in your opinion, for both these teams at this case?
Yeah, well, I
At this
mean,
time, sorry. Jesus.
yeah, no,
Can't speak
definitely.
tonight.
The thing is, both of them are right there in that middle pack, right? Like they've had a great offensive game, then they kind of laid an egg in a sense, and that's after 2 weeks. So it's kind of like we're still in the premature stages of the season. I know, obviously, the Dinos, they don't have the most favorable matchup coming up, so that's gonna be kind of a tough one. I think this next game for the the Archangels, I think it's going to be perfect. I think it's a perfect game for them to see who they really are. I know we'll talk about the Mexicas a little later, and the Cadillos are the Cadillos, right? Obviously, but I think it's perfect to see where they at. If the Dinos can withstand and show a fight and truly step up against a team like the Cadillos, and for me, the Archangels have a really good shot of beating possibly the number 2 team, in my opinion, the Mexicas. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and we'll talk about those games here coming up as well.
Sure.
I think for me, our Angels, they need to really open this offense up. I mentioned it last week, coming out of
Yeah,
last week when we did our week 2 preview, that it felt like it was a
definitely.
little one dimensional. They kind of rested on their laurels with the rushing game. I mean, Josh Mack and Denzel Strong are fantastic running backs. Those two, I don't think you have to worry about. They're going to get theirs. You got to open up this passing game, and if they can't do that, it could be a long season for them. And for the Dinos, on the other hand, getting the balance with Chance Bell may be exactly what the Dinos needed. However, they need to figure out this quarterback situation. I don't think the 2 quarterback system is going to work efficiently enough throughout the course of the year. So they either need to find Boykin or find De La Rosa and stick with one of the two as far as the reps are concerned. And because I think that's going to be the Dino's biggest shot to be able to not only make the playoffs, but possibly be disruptive, kind of like the Raptors were last year.
Yeah, and I think the Archangels, if I were them and if I had my foot in that front office, they should go trade for someone like that. I think they should trade for either one of them, in my opinion, because I think they're a quarterback away from being a playoff team. Like you said, those 2 running backs, they're going to get theirs, man. They're impressive. But seeing him at the bottom of the list and seeing him down there is tough, man. It's tough to see, but yeah, both teams with quarterback issues, but a little bit different of what kind.
All right. Moving forward to the second game that was on the slate in the last week or whatnot, the surprising Mexicas 2-0. I honestly don't think either one of us expected this. Put a stomping on the lowly Reyes team right now. Reyes made a move though this week. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
Yeah, yeah.
Shannon Patrick is back. They have decided to move on from the national quarterback as far as being the starter is concerned. Contreras, I believe his name was.
Correct, correct.
Um, so Shannon Patrick has not only history with this franchise, but he is also one of the more prolific passers that have come through the LFA
Yeah.
in recent memory. Another 3-point performance, this time against the Mexicas. So right now, as it stands, they have faced the top two teams in the league. With Shannon Patrick coming back, is there hope for this Reyes team moving forward, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have the perfect game for that. I think it's the perfect opportunity for them. I don't think that this team is only fighting for their season. I think they're fighting for their franchise. A lot of the stuff that we've been hearing over there in Jalisco, which is where the Reyes are located, is some of the crowd is kind of going in and out as far as like the support, and that's the last thing you want to know, right? That's the last thing you want to hear. I think their crowd is awesome. The city of Jalisco is gorgeous. It's honestly a great place to be. I think it's perfect time. It's 0-2 versus 0-2. One of the teams 0-2 is a lot different than the other one though. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity to bring him in, the right time to bring him in. I really hope they're going to take care of their imports over there, especially with him coming in, with Patrick coming in, because they need it, man. 6 points in 2 games is rough.
It's very
Especially,
rough.
I know you and I talk about this. The kicking, you would think, ironically, the kicking would be better. It would be better, right? But I was looking at these kicking stats, and it is far from it. So you're going to need to put they need to put touchdowns, man, and bringing a quarterback like him, who's already been in Mexico, who's already been over there. I think it's awesome, and I think it's great, and I think it's great for the fans. Hopefully, they can take care of him, and he'll improve them.
A little tidbit for you too: the Mexicas are 3-1 in the 4 games that these two teams have played lifetime. Nice little Easter night, nice little nugget there for you as well.
Yeah.
On the flip side of this, the Mexicas. I mean, what can we really say about this team? They've kind of surprised, I think, everybody that watches and follows the LFA. 2-0. They beat the runners-up in the title game last year with the Raptors in Week 1. Come in and beat Reyes, who was kind of reeling a little bit from their blowout loss to the Cadillos. The Mexicas, though, are looking very, very nice right now. Set up nicely here for the showdown, the regular season showdown with the Cadillos here moving forward. What do you think about this balance with this team and the Mexicas trying to put together a Raptors type run this year? Do you think that they're going to be able to do it, or do you think there's going to be kind of a fall off at some point?
Man, honestly, all the rumbling around that team right now is they're in love with their quarterback, right? And I know I've mentioned them. I wish I would have uploaded my short just because it's crazy. This is how I know you're a thinker, because everything you're kind of talking about it would have been on a type of short like that. Miguel Patino or Mike Patino, he's a flag football legend. They love that man over there, man. But him and Tim Whitfield have such a good 1-2 punch back there. They 100% have bought into him. I think he's gonna be what we saw in Johan Guerrero last year, that
Yep.
national quarterback that steps up, and they're like, man, this guy can do it. He can play. They drafted Patino. The Mexicas are 100% bought into that. I think Tim having a great game. I can just imagine what that is for his confidence. I think it's gonna be scary, man. I have them number 2. Like if we had power rankings and everything, which we possibly can start, but I got them number 2 because that defense looked insanely good. It was the Reyes, I get it, but they did exactly what they should have done, and they should have beat them up. And after they got everything rolling in that second half, because it was a slow start for the Mexicas, but it was a damn good game for them.
Patino, the thing that sticks out to me with Patino is 28 of 42 on the year so far.
Yeah.
317 yards. a 2-game stretch at 317, and he hasn't thrown the ball over 50 times yet.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like Whitfield's over 200 yards rushing. He's only 136 and second in the league. So it's really kind of rested on how efficient Patino has played this game for them. Now, this defense is really solid too. This defense reminds me a lot of that Raptors defense from a year ago.
Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me with this Mexico's team is Patino has been sacked 10 times so far.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
And if you watch those plays, you're like, oh man, like you just got to get rid of it. You got to. That's the youth. That's the youth in it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that, because I was going to say, and it's not all on the offensive line. Like I would say probably I'd attribute half of that to the offensive line, half of that to him holding onto the ball too long.
Yeah.
You know, so like he wants to make a play. I get it. That's awesome. You want to see that. You want to love that when it comes to, when it comes to being a quarterback, because you want to see the competitor in him, but you have to be smart when you do it as well. So
that's that flag football in him, man. That's like just throw the ball away, brother. But
I absolutely love seeing a national quarterback having success like this, though.
Yeah, amen.
Like I love seeing it, because I mentioned about Guerrero last year.
Yeah,
I think it's great for the sport down there in Mexico. I think it's great for the league, and I think it's great to try to help drum up interest and bring in some younger youth, and eventually, really put together a good, solid program across the board in the country of Mexico for American football down there. So,
absolutely.
I did want to mention real quick before we move on to the next game that the one thing that I am kind of disappointed with is the overall presentation of the LFA this year with the media side of things.
Yeah,
the online presence is great, but the actual production of the games has seemed to be missing a lot this year. I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel like it's too much miss.
Yeah. Oh, from what I read, and I'm trying to find this article, I know one of the main producers, or I think you would call him a producer. I know he's working for, he's working for a really big company in America now. He moved. He used to run like the main, I guess you could say like the main software that they use and stuff like that. So I think that probably took a hit. But I do know what you mean. Production value. I know some of the streams have been kind of hiccupy. I'm not sure why they haven't added a translator yet. I know that was a lot of the stuff that was in the talks. At least to have certain closed captions. I forgot what they had said they were going to try to work on. I'm gonna try to infiltrate, some LFA front offices, because I know there's a lot of fans in the States that would love to hear an English broadcast. And as Justin says, yes, the production. I wasn't going to say awful, but that's a strong.
I'm not going to say awful. I think it's worse than last year.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, as an American who would love to hear the games in English, I actually would just be happy with closed caption to start off with.
Yeah, exactly.
Subtitles would be awesome for just to start with, just so I can understand what's being said. Not that, it's football. I can understand most of it and kind of get most of it.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Mexican broadcasters is they're so enthusiastic.
I love
right?
it.
There's so much passion behind it, right? You love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even with it, like me not fully understanding, I absolutely love it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to necessarily take that away. It's just more, I want to be able to understand the nuances. I want to get to know these players a little bit, because they do a pretty decent job of at least highlighting certain players throughout the course of the game, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that we don't necessarily see a ton of. Like I mentioned it, I tweeted it out, like the IFL, and I tweeted it out with the AF1. Like the AF1 does a little bit better of a job than the IFL does, but like I want to know a little bit more about these guys, like some of the faces, because like if Patino continues going on the well he is, like this guy could be a superstar in Mexico. Like I want to be able to understand his story and understand who he is. That's really kind of where I would love to see. So that, and I think that starts just something as simple as closed captioning would be awesome in my
opinion. And it's funny you brought him up, because that's the game where I noticed they talked about his college career. They talked about where he came and his draft, and the first thing that clicked in my head was, man, they're just talking and rambling on about it. Nobody who doesn't understand Spanish, well, they're not going to get to catch that. They're not going to get to have that
Right.
superstar in their mind. They just think they're just kind of talking about it, and yeah, I mean that's honestly that's a great point. I think that'll be perfect. That's got to be something that I really hope they look into, especially with the ownership of the Osos coming over. I think there's going to be a little bit more fans in the states that are going to be tuning in. So that's a great idea. Yeah.
I do want to say too that I'm loving the stands overall so far. A lot of these home games, there seems to be a lot of support,
Yeah.
um, for a lot of these teams as well. The next game, the Osos and the Galos Negros. Now, we're not going to touch too much base on this, but we've been hearing some grumblings about some possible tumultuous situation happening with the Galos Negros team. So it's going to be something to kind of keep an eye on. We're just going to throw out that information for people. Just, if you want to dig, you can dig. There hasn't been anything official yet, but it has been pretty tough down there from what we've been hearing, and
Yeah.
hopefully by this weekend it gets sorted out from that perspective. But if you're listening to the LFA and you love the LFA and you really, really, truly want to kind of keep an eye on this situation, like Justin Kelm is echoing for us over there, dig on the situation. Because let's face it, this Galos Negros team has a potential superstar with Xavier Bullock. We talked about him after week one's 25-8 loss. He scored 20. They scored 20 points against this Osos team this week,
Yeah.
while still not having a friggin' offensive line.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they still no offensive line um, for this team, but they still put up 20. I know a lot of that was coming from behind per se, because the Osos kind of lit them up pretty early in this game. But I mean, is there anything this team can do? Like it feels like it's a coaching thing at this point for this offensive line for Bullock.
Yeah, a lot of it is play designs, getting behind the chains, things that you can definitely prevent. That's the toughest thing. The last thing we want is you see a superstar kind of give up, and for a reason of like, you know what, man, they're just not going to protect me. They're just going to beat me up. Because defensively, they have studs, man. They have studs. I know I've spoken with Malik Hargrove, and they're trying to clear some schedule up so we can get him on the show. Him and Xavier Bullock. I know they kind of had a team meeting, and they were kind of fixing. Hopefully, it wasn't a too negative of a meeting. I hope they're fixing things up. But I know they have an import on the offensive line. A big thing is play design, man. Play design is always going to help a weaker offensive line. They got to figure out a run game. I would say more quarterback design runs, but he's already taken a beating. I mean, how many sacks has he? We're looking at,
I mean, he's thrown for four. He only has 7 sacks, so
yeah,
he's not.
only
He's not.
seven.
I say only 7 through 2 games. I mean, that's still a lot, but
Yeah.
he only. It seemed like it was a little bit better this time through. He's 40 for 77 on the 77 attempts. He's leading the league in attempts, like basically at this
Mm-hmm.
point. A little bit lack of a run game from this team, which is a little bit different than we've seen in the years past. 447 yards. He has thrown for 3 touchdowns, but he's only completing about 52% of his completions, and he has 2 interceptions on the year. Uh, those numbers really aren't that bad. It feels like between this offensive line, he's under pressure a lot, and not being able to sustain drives has hurt this defense, because like the little fun fact is up on the screen right now, Wolf had 12 tackles for them. So they got a studded linebacker
Yeah.
who's able to make plays. It's just that if you can't get off the field, that doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day. Um,
Yeah. And truly, I know Billy Reagans is their guy in the backfield. At the end of the day, I mean, in order to crack the top 10 for rushing, you just needed to be over 71 yards. And I think Bullock is 100% capable of doing that. At the end of the day, if he's got to go, he's got to go, man. And you got to turn on the Willie Beeman factor, and you got to take off, man. You got to go do your thing, right? I mean,
the Willie Beeman.
yeah, like, and he's so capable of it. Every conversation I've had with Xavier has been great as far as humility wise. So I mean, I get you got to be a team player, but sometimes you and Billy got to talk, and you got to go take over the game, man. And we saw them getting third and long. Anytime that the Osos would just rush four, it was wraps.
Yeah.
And you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. So sometimes you just got to get and go, man, and just take off. And I hope it doesn't lead to a complete breakdown of the offense, but you gotta use your invisible juice and take off, man.
Well, I will say that Billy Reagans is loved here on the show, and we love him here. We hope him the best success, with this team. And 25 rushes for 90 yards on the year. I'm sure that he would probably like to have that number be a little bit better, but I think that goes back to that offensive line being not exactly in the best of shape. Now,
Yeah.
the Osos. Shelton Epler doing Shelton Epler things. 23-9 against the Dinos, 34-20 against the Gallos Negros. Uh, they're looking like they're going to be the only team that possibly can compete with the Caudillos at this point in time without getting ahead of ourselves. Uh, did you see anything that was possibly of weakness in this game other than maybe giving up the 20 points to the Gallos Negros, who, was playing from behind anyways? So that's basically how that's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, in this game, we kind of expected that. I know we both said on the last episode that we've had the guys are probably going to score late, and that's what they did. It would have been a little uglier if they didn't score there towards the end, but they played extremely efficient type of ball. They did what they were supposed to do when it was kind of a lopsided matchup. Um, Obviously, on the Gallos Negros side, Bullock held his own. He did what he could, but it's a team game, like we've said. And the Osos played like a team. They rushed forward, got home. Offensively, I mean, Shelton Epler's just pretty surgical right now. His completion rating is what 60, yeah, 69%. So, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to. He limited the turnovers, like you said he needed to do, and that's what you want your quarterback to do. You don't want him to turn over the ball. So, props to him, and I think I think you and I are safe to say that the Cadillos and them are again on a crash course for who's going to be number one.
Well, we thought that last year too, and look what happened. So let's.
Yeah, yeah,
I will say that there is one thing here, though. The Osos, as Daniel just went crashing to the floor, I will
I
say
did.
here that
I did.
the Osos have had a fairly lighter schedule, seeing what's going on with the Raptors so far through the first
Yeah,
three games. We'll have to see what happens when they start getting into the meat of their schedule. The Gallos Negros, though, have an opportunity here, and hopefully the players meeting that happened this week, the team meeting that happens this week, kind of hopefully jarred them together to kind of gel things. They have an opportunity to get their first win this week against a team that's just as rough they are so far through the first 2 weeks, in Reyes, but Reyes just got a friggin' firecracker back with Shannon
yeah,
Patrick. So
yeah.
that game is going to be interesting to see next week. We'll get to the previews on that here in a minute. Um, Now to the game that was the rematch of I keep saying national championship, but I guess you could say national championship, but of the league championship last year, the Raptors against the Cadillos. This one did not go the Raptors' way again. Now, however, the thing about this that is worrisome is how the Raptors have looked through two games.
Yeah.
The Mexicas held them to 8 points in the first game. They only scored 9 against the Cadillos. Johan Guerrero has almost 400 combined yards of football between rushing and receiving. I mean, rushing and receiving, rushing and passing. He needs help, or he needs an offense that's going to open it up for him, because I feel like that's a lot to put on Guerrero's plate. We saw
Yeah.
him last year and how much of a gamer he was down the stretch, but at this moment in time, this team's going to kill him if they keep doing this.
Man, I'm looking at these stats. They have one player in the top 10 of receiving yards. The Cadillos and the Osos have multiple people.
Yeah.
So do the Gallos. So it's help is an SOS is absolutely put out there to help that kid out. Um, I know that was their guy. That was their guy last year, and
It was our guy here on the show too
yeah,
last
I
year.
mean, and that's the thing is Johan. He man. I'm looking at his stats, and that's funny because I just kind of pulled him up. He is definitely he's definitely in need of some help, man. You would hope to see that that's something that they're going to bring up. He's done a great job of leading the team. It's just, I mean, he kind of ran into the buzzsaw, right? That's the Caballos. But he also played a very stout defensive team last game. So, I mean, it's very interesting. Like you said, he kind of doesn't really have a lot of.
Is it Jacoby Reddick that's in the top
Uh,
10?
I think for them,
Yeah, for the Raptors.
no, for them it is Luis Lopez Tinoco. So
Yeah,
Luis
so
Lopez.
I was looking at their wide receiving core. Jacoby Reddick is the only, I think, import on this team.
Yeah.
I don't think Strayholm's an import. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, Luis Lopez. He's 8 catches for 90 yards. He does have 2 drops though. So that's a rough one. So yeah, I
I
mean, I don't
I
know.
really want to see Jacoby Reddick get on the same page with Guerrero. I feel like there's been some miscommunication there. They've had some plays that have been missed. I really like Reddick. I think Reddick is going to be a key piece to this. If the Raptors want to turn this around, because it's a short season, it's only 8 games.
Yeah,
It's not like this is like a 10, 12 game season where you can kind of go 0-2 and maybe get in at 5-5. Like this is an 8 game season, so it's a short season. These next few weeks are going to have to count for them, and they're
yeah,
going to need to make a move, and have somebody step up. And I really like Jacoby Reddick. If he's watching the show, if you happen to come across it, like step up, my man. Because 0-3 this week is not going to look good if you lose to the Osos moving forward. So
yeah,
let's see an upset from the Raptors here, because even though you're an Osos fan, I know that we don't want to see a playoff without the Raptors, in my opinion. So
yeah. I agree. 100%.
without a doubt, the Cadillos are just doing Cadillos things, right? Like, is there really a lot that we need to talk about this? Like, it feels like no Jeremy Johnson, no problem. Here comes Harry Robideau, and Harrison's just going to go in there and just basically be Jeremy Johnson 2.0 with a stout team across the board.
Tremendous last name, by the way. Like
Robideau.
just the coolest. Just honestly, just super awesome. Um, he played good. He had no limp going on. He looked good. He ran the ball well. That team is just plug and play, man. They're plug and play right now, and
Pretty
they got some.
well-oiled machine down there.
Oh yeah, they got some studs there, man. They got some studs. They have 4 guys. I mean, they have 4 guys in the top receiving yards. They don't run the ball as much as apparently, but they don't need to right now.
I
So
was going to say, when you're
whatever
offense, when
they're
you're
doing, yeah.
their rush game is through that passing game, that short yardage passing game.
That's what you love. You love to do it. Air rated, baby. I'm all about
Yep.
it.
I do not like the air raid, but that's beside the point. I'm a traditionalist. Playing center, I'm a traditionalist. I want to run the ball. I don't want to pass block.
I feel you. I
I don't.
respect.
As an offensive lineman, I'm gonna road grade somebody. I want to put them
Yeah.
across the cheese grater.
Hey man. Hey man. I do
That's what I want
respect
to
that.
do. That's what I want to do. Have somebody come at me full speed and hope I don't get knocked over. That's not what I
Yeah.
want.
Let me just wait here and pick up the flicking linebacker. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. All right, that wraps up the recap for week 2. Not really any real super close games so far. I mean, I think the closest game so far that we've had through the 2 weeks is the Mexicas and the Raptors, which is
Mm-hmm.
good sign for the Raptors, even though they lost the game. Hopefully, we can start seeing some things as these teams start kind of mesh a little bit further. Start of the year is always a little bit rougher. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Today's 14th, so 15th, 16th, yeah, 17th. Okay. Let's start off week 3. So far, our number 2 in the power rankings, the Mexicas, against the Archangels, who I called out last week for being one-dimensional. Can they spread it out further this week, against the Mexicas? Tough challenge for the Archangels coming from that loss last week. What are your predictions on this one and thoughts?
I mean, it's kind of it's like cotton candy meeting water to me right now. And the big thing is because it seems that the Arcángeles are very one dimensional in a sense. I think that's kind of the identity they built on. I don't really see them changing a whole bunch. They kind of stuck to the short passing game as far as like the quick bubble screens, quick in screens, tight end dumps. They we know what their identity is. And the flip side is the Mexicas have done a good job of mixing their stuff up. You would like to see their quarterback not take so many sacks, but I definitely got the Mexicas winning. I think it's going to be a close game because I don't think they got that blowout potential just yet. But I think I'm going to give them. I'm going to go 24-13 with the Mexicas with the win.
24-13 with further the Mexitas
Yeah,
against the Art Angeles. See, I'm terrible at it. I can't do it. I tried it anyways. Shout out to Desmond Veals, by the way, linebacker for the Archangels as well. Go follow him on X. Make sure you pay attention to what he's doing.
amen.
Hell of a linebacker for them. Got that defense shirt up. He's the glue holding that the front seven together right now for that team. Yeah, man, I can't really disagree with anything that you said here. The Mexicas definitely have their, I got their early game rolling. They don't have blowout potential. I agree with you. Love this quarterback though. I think this quarterback, this national quarterback Coutinho has got a lot of upside, and they like him, and
Yeah,
they use him. They use him wisely. They have an offense that works for them, and he's efficient in what he's doing. The sacks are a problem because, like I said, even though he has 10 sacks, 5 of them are probably on him holding onto the ball too long. So I'd like to see a little more get the ball out of your hand type of situation. But overall, I think the Mexicas win this game. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a blowout per se, but I do think it might be along the lines of 18 to 9. I think we'll double them up.
I like that.
18 to 9. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring in this game because I do like the Archangels defense.
Yeah,
So I'll say 18 to 9 on that one. The next game. This is a big one too. Dinos coming in at 1-1. Just beat the Archangels after losing the first week there. Taking on the Cadillos. Now I say it's a big one because the Dinos only scored 9 points against the Osos, but that game was close for 3 quarters, right?
yeah,
That it was the fourth quarter that kind of got away from them. The Dinos measuring stick is getting these 2 games out of the way early, right? Like they first 2 weeks they're getting the Osos and the Cadillos out of the way. If they can compete with the Cadillos, this team is going to have a really good opportunity and chance to kind of mesh and hit their stride heading into the playoffs, which could potentially make them dangerous. What do we think about this game? Can they keep it close with the Cadillos, knowing that what we've seen with the Cadillos so far through the last 2 years, essentially?
yeah. I think they're going to need to. I think that's going to be something that's got to be vital for them, especially for a team that's like we said earlier. We talked about them right away, right? Which was where are these two teams going? What's their identity? I think for one, they're going to have to use both QBs. They're going to have to try to keep the Carrillos on their toes as much as possible. Try to get them uncomfortable and try not to get in those ugly situations where you allow them to do that. I think defensively they play a good they play a kind of a good role into it. The the unfortunate thing is, the Cadillos are the Cadillos, man. They're scary. They're pretty impressive, and they look and play the part. I think it'll be something. It's a night game, man. And they're hosting. I think are they?
It's
Yeah.
Cadillos that are hosting, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Oh man, I'm gonna go Saturday night game too. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna go 36. I'm gonna go 36-24, but the Dino scored late. Actually, I'm gonna go 36-12. I'm gonna
36-12.
I'm gonna completely change it. I think the Dinos are gonna play good. I don't think they're gonna play too bad. It's just the Cadillos are the Cadillos, man. You have to give more credit to who they are, and I don't know what's gonna change over there. They're trucking it in and out.
The Dinos just need to figure out this quarterback situation. That's the biggest
Yeah,
thing, right? Like they
yeah,
they they need to either stick with De La Rosa or stick with Boykin, one or the other, and just give them a chance to continue to grow with this offense, right? Like
100%.
that's the way you have a chance here to be 1-2 coming out of the first 3 weeks, but you have a chance to be like, well, we contended with the Osos for 3 quarters and we contended with the Cadillos. Unfortunately for them, I think with the quarterback situation kind of being more of a mess coming out of week 2, than it was heading into week 2. I think the Caudillos is going to win this game pretty handily, just the same way that you did. I think it's going to be 34-13. It's very similar score to you as well. So just because I don't think the Dinos is going to have enough to get to that point. So this game is huge for the Raptors. I can't stress this enough for this team because this is the runner-up from last year's championship game. They made the championship game. They are going in, or they're hosting, I should say, the Osos. Now, similar to the Dinos, the Raptors are getting their 2 big games out of the way early.
Yeah.
However, they lost to the Mexicas. So instead of being 1-2 coming out of the week like the Dinos could be, they're going to be 0-3 if they lose to the Osos.
Yeah.
Can they beat the Osos? Is this a team that is capable of surprising people and beating the Osos this week? They are at home. So
that's exactly what I was going to say. If they don't get help for Johan Guerrero, it's going to be a long, long night, right? I mean, the Osos have shown that they can rush for. They just played probably the most electric, athletic quarterback in the league, and the Osos know exactly kind of going into this game what they're going to expect. The biggest thing is Johan's going to have to have one of those electric games. He's going to have to. Are they capable of it? Sure, right? I mean, on paper, you would think that they definitely have a chance. I think this is more of an Osos game in the sense of they need to have a great game. Like they need to have a game where it's not just man, they're kind of close. They need to really prove to themselves it's not number 1 and then the Osos. They need to prove that it's 1A, 1B. And I think they need to have themselves a good game. And I think the Raptors is a good game to kind of go into that. You're away. It's an early Sunday game. So yeah, I have the Osos. I do have the Osos winning. I don't think the Raptors just offensively they can do much, and I think it's going to be a 30. I'm going to go 30-6 for the Osos for a win. I think it's going to be pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to get pretty ugly late.
Wow. Okay. I believe the Osos are going to win as well. I do have the Osos in this game. I do not have it 30-6. I think this Raptors team, I think they're better than what we've seen so far. And I feel that the Osos in week 1 were kind of had the blueprint laid down a little bit as to how to at least slow the offense down enough to be in a competitive game.
Yeah.
If the Raptors study that game again, studied the Dinos in that game, I think that they can at least make this game comfortable for them to feel better going into the Dinos game in week 4. Because I don't think, I'm not even sure people inside the Raptors organization feels like that they can win this game. I'm sure that they want to win this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they feel like they can. I'm going to say the Osos wins this game 28-18. But I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be pretty close for a chunk of the game. So
yeah,
this might be one of the grittiest games that the Osos play all year.
I like that.
All right. Now, 2 teams trying to avoid going 0-3. Like the Raptors. The Gallos Negros is at home against the Jalisco Reyes. Shannon Patrick's back for Reyes. Xavier Bullock has the offense moving pretty well when the offensive line wants to protect. What's your thoughts on this one, and is it enough just getting Shannon Patrick back to get Reyes on the board, or are we just looking for Reyes to just have a better offensive game this game, knowing that there might be a loss?
Yeah, I think it'll help. Obviously, I think anything will help right now, to be honest. I think down the road we might see them. Unfortunately, down the road for them is the Osos. Maybe the Angeles game would be a little bit better. But I mean, just looking at the next couple games that they got, yeah, it's going to be a rough one. I just think the consistency of how well the Gallos have been playing. Yes, they haven't gotten the win. It's understandable, but I just think their explosiveness is going to help. I think this is a must-win game for both. I just think it's kind of more leaning on the Gallos side as far as like you don't want that locker room to be like, damn, we just lost. Like, did we lose to this team? And I really hope the Reyes can make it competitive. I do have the Gallos Negros winning. I do have them winning 26 to, I'll go 26-12. Um, just because I think it's a little too late. I mean, it's a little too early right now to see if Patrick's going to come in and make a difference. But I would like to see the guys get on the win board. I know that's your squad, so I'm gonna root for them too, man. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I honestly would like to see the Gallos Negros get the win here as well. I do think that they have the better overall team, but this offensive line, and I hate to keep harping on it, but this offensive line really needs to do its part to make sure that it's slowing the game down enough for Xavier Bullock to kind of be able to showcase that athleticism and kind of be the guy that we all expect him to be, right?
Yeah.
They have a good offense. They have a good wide receiving core. We've seen it. We've seen how good this wide receiving core can be when they get a chance and opportunity, and we've seen how good Bullock can be. And honestly, I think that right now with Shannon Patrick coming in, I think it's just going to be a matter of improvement in week one for this team. I think we see it. Now, I don't know if that's going to be because of the competition or if it's going to be because of Shannon Patrick. However,
True.
either way, I think we'll see improvement this week. I still think the Gallos Negros wins this game. I think it's going to be 26 to 16. I'll say a 10-point game.
I like that.
Yeah, so Gallos Negros wins. So clean sweep for us this week. We agreed on all four games.
That's
That's the
correct.
first time so far heading into week 3 as well. Daniel, do you have anything for our segment right quick tonight, or did we cover
Uh,
it? Or
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something quick. I'm definitely pretty much just. I mean, if you're okay with it.
oh, of course I am. I'm always okay with it. It's one of my favorite
Um,
segments, and it's everybody else's favorite segment. They just don't know it yet.
it's just a nice little Duolingo class for everybody. But first and foremost, this last weekend, I know in the country of Mexico, celebrated on Saturday. For us, it's on Sunday, Mother's Day, right? Dia de las Madres. So first and foremost, in English first, right? Thank you to all the moms out there that are kicking butt. Whether you're out there working, you're at home, whatever you're doing, thank you so much. And in Spanish, of course, gracias por todas las madres que tenemos. Gracias por todos las mujeres que no son madres, pero todavía tienen familia como todos. Obviously, the moms that have their own families, of course. Thank you so much for everyone out there. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And of course, in Spanish, por todo, gracias por todo, porque sin mi madre, yo no sé que ella es mi corazón, ¿verdad? Mi vida. My mom's my life. I was raised by a single mom, so she's everything to me. I love her with all my heart. So para mi mamá, gracias por todo. Feliz Dia de los Madres that had already passed. Happy Mother's Day. And thank you so much. I love you.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I like that. I like that. Happy Mother's Day as well from us over here on the English side of things as well.
Yes, sir.
It's a little bit belated, but overall, I hope everybody did something special for their mothers out there that uh, deserve it. So by all
Amen.
means.
Amen.
So all right, my man. Well, hey, I'm all set for the rest of the night. I don't know about you. Make sure if you tuned in tonight, I know it's a little bit late to start. Normally we do this on Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's like what? That's 6:30 your time, 7:30 your time, 7:30 your time.
7:30. Yes, sir.
7:30 Central Time for where Daniel is over in Texas. Um, as well for everybody that's listening that's just catching in, covering LFA Spring Showcase as well here on the Shady Sports Network. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. By all means, hit that little notification dingy thingamajiggy so you know that when we come on as well. We will try to stay on task on Tuesday. I just forgot about the prior engagement from last week and mentioned it, but I think we should be good to go for Tuesday this week. as well. ELF season starts this week. Summer Showcase, I don't have a co-host still yet for it, so I'm hoping that maybe we can get one here in the near future, so that way we can get that up and running with the season starting this weekend. I was hoping to do one this week, but as you can tell, it's probably not going to happen. And look for Summer Showcase Northern Lights for the CFL. That will start in June on a more consistent basis. We did our draft preview the other night and had a pretty good response. So, that might be moving to Sunday mornings. We're not sure 100% yet, but overall, Daniel and I will be here Tuesdays for the most part, as long as we can make it work. And if we're not here on Tuesday, if you tune in, we're not here. Just wait till Wednesday. We'll be here.
That's right, baby. That's right. I'll be
Yeah,
here. No, yes, sir.
absolutely. That's Daniel Villapando. Make sure you look out for his shorts too. His LFA shorts. He's going to be doing them. I know he's going to try to do them more often, so make sure you're on the lookout for them as well. They're fantastic. They're a lot of fun as well, because that's just what Daniel does. He's got the personality like me. And yeah, we're a brother from different mothers and cultures and everything else, whatever else you
Yes, sir.
as well, right? Yeah. Yeah, yes, sir. I'm Michael Washington as well. Make sure you hit the Shady Sports Network, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. So long and good night.